Now going to recognize Mr. Johnson from Ohio for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning to all of our panelists. You know, today we're looking at how Congress can address an issue impacting every single corner of our society, from oncology drugs and baby formula to ADHD and generic medications. The current drug shortage is restricting the care that doctors can provide, and it's reducing the quality of patient care nationwide. And all this reduces the quality of life for all Americans. In some cases, parents are concerned about sending their children off to start another school year without the medications they need. In other cases, doctors are substituting cancer treatments because they're unable to access their preferred treatments. In any first world country, especially the United States, this is wholly unacceptable. I'm sure each member of this committee can tell a story of someone they represent not being able to get their prescriptions filled or having to change their cancer treatments in order to work around a shortage of a particular oncology drug. That's why this hearing today is so important. We need to fix this, and we need to fix it now. So, Dr. Goff, many of our drug shortages are caused by quality problems. Why do your members seem unable to invest in more modern and upgraded manufacturing facilities that are less likely to have quality issues?
Thank you for the question. And that question and the process around it, we don't believe is a totally true statement. We've heard the FDA say that as well. We do reinvest into our facilities. We do add in new equipment, new lines, building new parts of the facility. So it's not that reduction. It is a combination of FDA inspection processes and the actual facility. So as I said in my opening statement, we think there should be a very important process where the drug shortage staff of the FDA works with the Office of Regulatory Affairs and the Office of Compliance as they go through those inspection processes to make sure that it is an objective, not a subjective process.
Okay. Do group purchasing organizations or GPOs contracting, do GPO contracting practices play a role in pricing and the stability of the generic market?
Yes, they do.
Okay, all right. While I'm with you, Mr. Goff, I heard a mention that FDA does not know where API is made for generic drugs. Mr. Goff, do generic companies tell FDA who their API suppliers are as part of a generic drug application? Yes or no?
Yes.
They do. Can FDA inspect those API suppliers?
Yes, they can, and they do.
Okay, great. Mr. Davis, what do your HDA members do when there's a shortage and they don't have enough inventory on hand to fill their customers' orders? How do they decide how much each customer gets, and how do distributors mitigate and manage drug shortages?
Thank you, Congressman, for the question. So I would answer that in two ways. I think the first thing is they want to define the scope and the severity of the shortage, and they do that through regular communication, active communication with their upstream manufacturing partners as well as their downstream providers. Oftentimes, going back to my opening statement, we have to define whether or not this is a demand-driven shortage or a supply-driven shortage, because the solutions to those things can and often does look differently. The biggest thing they do is they will, once it's confirmed that there's a shortage, will often put all of their downstream providers on what they call fair share allocation. Right. It's often an algorithmic formula that makes sure that everybody gets a portion of what they like so that no one goes without it completely.
Okay, continuing with you, Mr. Davis, it seems that distributors are in a unique position to see shortages coming because of their interaction with both the supply and demand sides of the equation. So do distributors communicate to the FDA when they see the potential for a shortage coming? And is the FDA leaning forward and reaching out to you when they see the potential for a shortage?
Yes, sir, on both of those fronts. I think if you go back to last fall and you look at what was referred to as the triple-demic, I had direct conversations with the FDA commissioner as well as our team with the Office of Drug Shortages in his office, as did many of our members. The only thing I would distinguish is I think there's more visibility from us, given the relationship with the provider end, particularly the pharmacy community, when there is demand-driven, because that's coming up through the system, and we don't have as much visibility on supply-driven because the manufacturers are obviously living with that before.
Okay,
we're-
my time has expired. What about the manufacturers? Do they communicate that they're struggling with keeping up with supply and demand? Yes or no?
To distributors, sir?
Yes.
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
we try to ensure that there's regular
All
communication.
right, Mr. Chairman, I yield back.